Welcome to Manifesting Anything with Landria. With me, come on, let's manifest. We can do amazing things. What am I going to talk about today? I have techniques. They're all very simple. There are usually 1, 2, maybe 3 at the most. It's either a 3-second or 3 steps, 1 step, 2 steps. When you are able to focus on one thing, then everything goes into that. And so many of us are scattered. Should I do the mantra and then this and then this? And the answer is no, you don't have to do anything. You're doing it right now. You're manifesting right now. What I would like to talk about today is a technique called go into it. Now, if you're watching on my channel, you've probably seen this video and many videos where I actually tell you to go into fear. Now, this doesn't sound good when I say that. I don't want to go into fear. What are you, crazy? No, hear me out. There is no such thing as something having power over you. It just doesn't exist, okay? So when something doesn't have power over you, then basically there's never anything to fear. What we fear is that things that we don't desire. Right? We're afraid that things that we want aren't going to happen and things that we don't want are going to happen. And so it's always about what we desire. That's all. That's what fear is. Things that we don't desire. Pain, losing a loved one, all these things. So what we're doing is we're actually avoiding all these things. And so we are actually, according to quantum mechanics, focusing on that thing. And we're actually creating it, okay? Because you're avoiding it, you don't want it, you battle it, you're creating it more. Go into it is when we actually, instead of battling, I don't want it, this is how do I get out of it? We go into it and we look at it. Everything is placed in front of you for a specific reason. It is something you must work on. It's something you may get tested on to learn more about yourself. I just recently had a huge one and I was just absolutely so happy at what happened. I don't get tested that much, right? Because I'm here talking to you. I get responses online. When you go out and interact with people in the real world, that's why I said, Dalai Lama, he has a different kind of lifestyle. You're out there in that world with the nasty boss and all the people you have to deal with. What happens when you go into it? Well, I've taught you about the boss. Instead of battling the boss, I don't like this person's a jerk and whatever, you go into it. But you must be the peace when you do this. When you go into something and you are the peace, what's happening is you affect the energy around you. Now, you don't want to keep exposing yourself to negative energy. That you must remove yourself at some point. But when you're in those situations, it no longer bothers you. It's not pleasant to be around, but it really doesn't have an effect on you. All right? And I know it's tough for people to imagine that you can actually be in just a horrible situation and not have it affect you. My blood pressure doesn't even go up. And I've got tested recently, big time. And I realized, wow, okay, I'm really at that place where I see it for what it is. I'm observing things now. I'm not interacting with it. I'm going straight into it. I'm looking at it. Here it is. But my reaction is what I get to choose. When you go into something, what you're doing now is saying, okay, this happened for a reason. And what is it? It's a personal reason. If you're there with somebody else, if I am the peace and I go in there to my negative boss and I say, because now this lesson is that there's a person who's angry or disturbed or frustrated with life, not somebody who's personally after you. Now you go in with peace and you see it differently. So you go to the boss and say, you know what? Is there something I can do for you today? Not, oh, you seem frustrated or angry. No, we're not here to judge. You go in and you say, what can I do for you right now? What can I do for you? You don't have to, hey, listen, we have personalities. You don't stop having your personality, all right? Okay? You can have conversations with people and still have a personality. But when you're going in with peace and you're speaking to that person coming from that, and whatever's coming to you, you deflect it because it no longer has an effect on you. You're going into it. You know, it's the martial arts, people told me this before, where you just deflect what's coming at you. You don't do this. It comes at you and you actually deflect it and they fall down. That's what going into it is. It's a technique that I use for everything. I'm going to go into it. What is this situation that I don't desire? How do I want to change it? It's not a problem. None of it ever is. Let's look at this. Well, I guess if I desire this, then this must change. So how can I change this to now be in this reality? So I'm going to go into it. What is this? All right, so, I've been doing this. So, let's say somebody, I'm not making money. I hear that a lot. And it's, I put a few went to get a couple jobs. And no, that's not working. So if that hasn't been working, then I must go to 100 interviews this month instead of 2. So I must absolutely, completely change how I'm approaching this. So I must go into this and take a good hard look and say, if I want to change my life, then something has to happen, and I must be that new reality. How does that new reality look and feel? What do I do as that new person in that new reality? And then you start to make the decisions. Does this make sense? So go into it. Go straight into it. And you realize, wait a minute, this isn't frightening at all, and I'm empowered now. I'm going to change. And the most amazing feeling is when you feel like you have power. All of a sudden, the fear dissipates, and you realize I'm in charge. All right, I'm going to take some action, and it's not always going to work 100% every time, but I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to find that because those lessons along the way are making me a better person, a stronger person, and I'm going to be peace in all of that. I'm going to be peace. And everything and everybody around me is going to change because now I'm shifting into a new reality, because now I'm a peaceful person. I'm not battling anything anymore. And it picks up on that. And now all of a sudden you shift into that which you are, right? The frequency that you're on. You will now reside in those other frequencies. And then if new lessons come along, that's to help you go up to another frequency. How am I going to handle this? How am I going to change that situation? I can be abundant. Why am I not abundant? I can have a beautiful relationship. Why am I not doing that? Well, I've got to change some thinking up here, or how I'm taking care of myself, or how I'm relaying to that person. Am I being a loving person? Am I coming home and giving my kids that attention? Or am I gaming, or, getting angry, or are we eating dinner together? My dad, my mother, man, she would wait till my dad got home and all of us would sit around the table. Why? Because she didn't have that growing up, and she wanted to make sure that we had it. So the 4 of us would sit and talk. She made a point of doing that, and it wasn't a big effort, right? You can change anything. You can change. Be that beautiful, amazing person that's going to create something beautiful on this planet for yourself and others. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.